Hello everyone. Again, here Professor Tejashree Morekar presenting before you Descriptive Statistics in Research from Unit 3, Section 5. So in this session, we are going to see what is statistics, branches of statistics, descriptive statistics, and from descriptive statistics, there are three important measures, that is the distribution, the central tendency and the dispersion. So let's see what it is actually. So first of all, what is statistics? Statistics is the science of collecting data and analyzing them to infer proportions that are representative of the population. So we have seen what is population, we have seen what is sample. Samples are the part of population, and to collect the sample, do the analysis and take appropriate inferences. That is, we have to conclude what our sample represents the population part. So this analysis is possible with the help of statistics, as statistics is the science of collecting data and analyzing them. In other words, statistics is interpreting data in order to make predictions for the populations. So to know what is the population, to know more about the population, we first collect the data, that is, we collect the sample, we draw the conclusion based on the data analysis, and then we can represent what is actually our population is. So this all is population with the help of statistics. So there are branches of statistics. So mainly there are two branches of statistics, that is descriptive statistics and inferential statistics. What is descriptive statistics? In short, it is a statistic or a measure that describes the data. Inferential statistics, using a random sample of data taken from a population to describe and make inferences about the population, is called inferential statistics. So descriptive statistics is a measure that describes what our actual data is, and what the data is, that the sample or the data which is collected by the researcher. And beyond that, inferential statistics states that using a random sample of data taken from population to describe and make inferences about the population, do the analysis, critical analysis, and then conclude or make some inferences, draw conclusion that what actually our population is. So this is called as inferential statistics. Descriptive statistics are the simple one, only describes or gives a summary of your population or gives a summary of your sample data which is you collected. And inferential is beyond the descriptive statistics, is to draw the conclusion and take some decision based on your sample and then represent what your actual population is. So these two major branches are of statistics. We'll see what are the descriptive statistics used in the research. So descriptive statistics, it can also be useful for two purposes. First, to provide basic information about variables in a dataset. What is dataset? Dataset is nothing but our population or a sample. Then also used to highlight potential relationship between variables. So basically descriptive statistics can be used for two purposes. First, to draw or to provide basic information from the data, and to highlight potential relationship between the variables. And what are the variables? Variables are nothing but the components on which you are going to do a research. So descriptive statistics can be displayed graphically or pictorially, and are measures of graphical pictorial methods, measures of central tendency, measures of dispersion, and measures of association. So descriptive statistics comes in these four components. So beyond descriptive statistics, we will see again a descriptive statistics are numbers that are used to summarize and describe the data. So it is just a summarization what actually your data is, and the data is nothing but your collected data, that is sample data. They provide simple summarizes about the sample and measures. Descriptive statistics are used to describe the basic feature of the data in a study. Descriptive statistics are used to present a quantitative descriptions in a manageable form. What is quantitative? A data which can be measured. A quantifiable data which can be measured, or it is a measurable. Together with simple graphics analysis, they form the basis of virtually every quantitative analysis of data. So this quantitative data can be represented in the form of graphics, that is a charts, pie chart, bar diagram, line chart, scatter chart. So this quantitative data description comes from the descriptive statistics. We can be shown using a simple graphical format. So this is what a descriptive statistics is. We'll take one example. A descriptive statistics example. They provide simple summarizes about the sample and the measures. Consider the scoreage of many students, the grade point average, that is GPA. Out of consider consider in a class of 50 students, and you want to calculate a grade point average, that is GPA. This single number describes the general performance of a student across potential wide range of course experiences. So based on GPA, that is your average percentage, gives you how your performance is throughout the semester or throughout the year. So this is a single number, this GPA, on which we are going to come to a conclusion that the student's performance is poor or better. So this is a single number, that is a single variable, describes the general performance of a student. Okay. Again, a descriptive statistics univariate analysis. Univariate analysis means what? Univariate analysis means the analysis which can be done on a single variable. As we have seen in the previous example, consider a score of many students and the GPA average is the single variables which is used to see what is the performance of student based on the GPA, or you can simply say it as aggregate percentage of student. So, univariate analysis involves the examination or to summarize across only one variable at a time. So, there are three major characteristics of single variable that we tend to look at. First is the distribution, second is the central tendency, and third is the dispersion. So, these three are calculated or done analysis on univariate variable, that is a one variable analysis at a time. Going further, we'll see one by one. So univariate analysis when it comes to the distribution. So the distribution is a summary of a frequency of individual values or ranges of values for a variable. It gives you the summary of frequency. The simplest distribution would list every value of a variable and the number of persons who had each value. So we'll take one example and you will get to know that what is actually the distribution is. First example is we describe gender by listing the number or percentage of males and females. So in a region given, that is, if you want to calculate the number of males and females, which can be calculated under one variable, that is gender. So gender is a variable, and the males and females you have to distribute it amongst it. So only one variable is considered here, and given a region you have to calculate how many males are there and how many females are there. So simply you will ask what is a gender, and you will distribute between the male and percentage in the form of percentage or numbers. So this is the univariate distribution. Second example is distribution of college student is by year in a college, listing the number or percentage of student. So distribution of student can be done by number of year, by year. Now here is the one variable according to year. Suppose 2015-16 how many students are there, 2016-17 how many students are there, 2017-18 how many students were there enrolled, 2017-18 how many students were enrolled. So this distribution is done according to year. Now year here plays a single variable known as univariate variable. Second example is listing the number or percentage of students. How many percentage of there in that particular year. So in this way, a single variable, we can do a percentage of it. We can distribute it. Again, for example, we might look at the GPA, that is the aggregate percentage, according to the grade ranges, or we might group income into 4 or 5 ranges of income values. So these again are two examples. The aggregate distribute the students according to the aggregate of percentage he has acquired, or we can group a number of community people according to their income groups, that is low income, medium income and high income. So what is this? We are grouping their salaries based on the variables. We are distributing it. So only one variable is the income, and then we are distributing it according to the subdivisions. So here is the example, that is category under 35 years old, 36 to 45 years, 46 to 55, 56 to 65 and 66 plus. And given a community of people, how many percentage of people lie under this we will calculate. So in this way, the age year in the community is calculated percentage wise, and then based on this tabular information, we have plotted here a distribution bar chart. It is also known as frequency distribution bar chart. Only we are here finding out the how many people are lies under this category. So this is the frequency chart and known as frequency distribution bar chart, graphically shown. So moving further, I hope you understood what is distribution in the univariate analysis. We'll go further with the central tendency. So the central tendency of a distribution is an estimate of a center of a distribution of values. There are three major types of estimates of central tendency. We'll see one by one, that is mean, median and mode. The mean or average, mean is also known as average, is probably the most commonly used method of describing central tendency. To compute the mean, all you do need to do is to add up all the values and divide by the number of values. We have seen how to calculate the mean. For example, the mean or average we have to calculate based on the quiz score is determined by summing all the scores and dividing by the number of students who have took the exam or the quiz. For example, consider the test score values. Here are the test score values of 8 students got 15, 20, 21, 22, 36, 15, 25 and 15 respectively marks. Now calculating the mean, you have to sum of all these values. Sum of these 8 values gives you the 167. So the mean is computed as 167 divided by 8. Why 8? 8 means the number of students taking part into the quiz. So it gives you the result 20.875. So this is my mean. So on an average, a student getting marks is 20.875. So this is how we calculate the mean. Going further, what is median? The median is the score found at the exact middle of the set of values. So finding given a data, finding the central value is nothing but a median. One way to compute the median is to list all scores in numerical order and then locate the score in the center of the example of sample. For example, again we will see the same example of 8 students. These are the marks student getting in the quiz. If there are 500 scores in the list, score 250 would be the median. Okay. If we order the 8 scores shown above, we would get, order means what? Simply you have to order your values according to ascending order or descending order, from lowest to highest or highest to lowest. So this is my order from lowest to highest. Now the center values is the two values. As there are 8 students, the center values are 2, and now here 2 of it are 20, so my median goes to 20. If it is 7, then central value is the fourth value. Getting what is median in the central tendency? Moving further, what is mode? The mode is the most frequently occurring value in the set of scores. More frequently means what? A repeatedly value coming into the list of data set, then that value is known as mode. To determine the mode, you might again order the score as shown above. In the previous example, we have ordered the list here. Accordingly, to find out the mode, you have to arrange your data according to ascending or descending and then count each value. The most occurring value is the mode. For example, now your 15 is repeated thrice. So the value 15 occurs 3 times and is the mode. So 15 value is my mode. In some distribution, there is more than one modal value. You can get a 15 getting repeated 3 times, 20 can get repeated in 3 times. So from one data set, you can have a 2 mode values. For example, in bimodal distribution, there are 2 values that occurs more frequently. Now, a data can have one or more than one mode. If there is only one number that appears maximum number of times, the data has one mode and it is called as unimodal. So in our previous, the 15 only gets repeated 3 times. So that is an example of unimodal. If there are two numbers that appear maximum number of times, then the data has two modes and it is called as bimodal. If there are more than two numbers that appears maximum number of times, the data has more than two modes and it is called as multimodal. So in this way, there are three types of mode. And what is mode? A mode which the value gets repeated maximum times in the list of data set. So when we plot a mean, mode, median, we get this diagram. So you can see on the picture that the distribution is bell shaped. Bell means what? It looks like a bell, so it is known as bell shaped, which simply means that it is not heavily picked. Not heavily picked means what? In the peak value, the data set points are very low, very less at the peak value, where we can get all the data spreaded tremendously at the bottom of this bell shaped, and only some values we can get at your peak point. And unimodal means that there is only one peak. Now this is the unimodal which has only one peak. So from this session we conclude that in statistics we have to deal with the mean, mode, median. So these are called as the central tendency. The mean is simply the average. We calculate the average. The mode is a value or category that occurs most often within a data, and the median is the middle value or midpoint in your data. So in this way we have seen what are the descriptive statistics. Thank you everyone. I hope you understood what is actually statistics, what are descriptive statistics, and in that mean, mode and median. So don't forget whatever we have seen. Enjoy family time, stay home, stay safe. Thank you. We'll meet again another session. Thank you.